For years, Nigerians have been told that Boko Haram is weakened and ISWAP is under pressure. Yet attacks continue, fighters keep appearing, weapons keep flowing. So the question many are now asking is this: are Boko Haram and ISWAP preparing for something bigger? Today we examine the signs, the patterns, and the uncomfortable truths behind what may be coming next. One of the most worrying indicators in conflict zones is not noise, but silence. In recent months, there have been periods of reduced high-profile attacks, especially mass kidnappings. To many, this looks like progress, but to security analysts, it can signal regrouping, restructuring, and planning. Terror groups rarely disappear quietly. They pause, they adapt, they return in new forms. This pattern has been seen before in Iraq, Syria, and the Sahel, and Nigeria is not immune. It is true that Boko Haram has lost territory and leadership over the years. Internal divisions weakened the group, pushing many fighters toward ISWAP. But decline does not equal defeat. Smaller Boko Haram factions still operate, launching raids, kidnapping civilians, looting communities for survival. These remnants can act as spoilers, creating chaos that benefits larger extremist networks. History shows that weakened groups often become more unpredictable, not less dangerous. ISWAP operates differently, and that is what makes it more dangerous. Unlike Boko Haram's brutality, ISWAP often avoids mass civilian killings, targets military bases, builds influence through forced governance, collects taxes and controls trade routes. This is not random violence. It is insurgency with long-term planning. ISWAP appears to be positioning itself not just as a terror group, but as a parallel authority, especially around Lake Chad. That kind of ambition suggests preparation, not retreat. One clear sign of escalation is the shift toward coordinated attacks on military installations. These operations require intelligence gathering, logistics planning, trained fighters, reliable weapon supply. This level of coordination does not happen overnight. When terror groups focus on weakening security forces rather than civilians, it often means they are testing strength and response time, a preparation phase. No group prepares for something bigger without resources. Despite years of operations, Boko Haram and ISWAP still access small arms, explosives, vehicles, communication tools. Funding continues through kidnapping for ransom, smuggling, illegal taxation, regional criminal networks. As long as these lifelines exist, the capacity for escalation remains. Nigeria does not face this threat alone. Instability in Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. The wider Sahel creates space for fighters to move, hide, and reorganize. When pressure increases in one country, militants shift across borders. This regional flexibility allows planning on a larger scale. Perhaps the most dangerous factor is recruitment. Poverty, displacement, and insecurity continue to push young men toward armed groups. Not always out of ideology, but out of survival. Each new recruit replaces fallen fighters, expands operational capacity, sustains the conflict. A group that can still recruit is a group that is not finished. So, are Boko Haram and ISWAP preparing for something bigger? The signs suggest strategic patience, organizational adaptation, continued funding, regional movement, focus on long-term influence. This does not guarantee a major escalation tomorrow, but it does mean complacency is dangerous. The greatest mistake societies make is assuming terror groups disappear simply because headlines fade. Boko Haram and ISWAP thrive in shadows, not spotlight. If poverty remains unchecked, borders remain porous, and communities remain abandoned, the conditions for something bigger will continue to grow. The future of security in northern Nigeria will depend not just on bullets, but on governance, intelligence, and trust between the state and its people. If you found this analysis valuable, like the video. Share it to raise awareness. Subscribe for honest, in-depth discussions on African security and geopolitics. And tell us in the comments, do you think a bigger phase of this conflict is coming, or are these groups nearing their end?